Alrighty guys, so let's finish off that list of heroes that you should play, as well as giving you guys them tips and tricks. Let's kick it off with the second part of the video. So if you guys haven't seen the first part, I'll link it down below. But anyways, Diva. What can't this girl do? She's basically one of the strongest heroes right now in the game. Arguably one of the easiest to play as well, for the amount of value that you get out of her. So anyways, she has an ability to shoot, and it never has to reload. There's no delay in between like any amount of shots, so there's no like reload, there's no ammo count, so you can fire literally forever. And she does a ton of damage up close. Think of it like dual shotguns, and she melts things really fast. She also has a booster that can get you to high ground and can kill certain things that would be further away, specifically things like Widowmaker. You can also use a shield while you're charging at people. Now the charge does actually do damage when you're actually, what do they call it, like boosters. Okay, so her ability actually hits for 50 points of damage, unless they've changed this anywhere since I've last played. So it should be hitting for 50, unless, again, like I said, they've changed this, but nonetheless, yeah, it hits for that. They've also buffed her. She can actually move faster while shooting. She used to have a decreased movement speed that was a lot more harsh. But anyways, basically, as Diva, you are a tank that can be very aggressive. Also, she can get outside of the mech when the mech is destroyed. She has a ton of armor as well, so she's basically one of the strongest heroes in the games in terms of health pool, especially when you consider it effective health pool as well. But nonetheless, she also has this barrier that she can throw. It's actually like something that goes out longer. I wish I could. Can I like do this and emote? I don't think I can emote and shield at the same time. But basically, it goes out relatively far. Like, if this guy was shooting me, I could be blocking over here, and it would block everything. And it also can stop a lot of ultimates as well. You can stop Hanzo ultimates. You can do a lot of different things with Diva. So if you want to play a tank that's very aggressive and very easy to play, that has high mobility and can affect the game very well, Diva could be definitely for you, because she can be very aggressive. She can get to those high ground spots. Don't try to hit people from super far away like this, though. I don't really recommend that. You want to stay anywhere between 10 meters, and like as close as possible to 10 meters where you want to be at Diva's like most effective range. But anyways, you can also throw her ultimate like this, and then it can blow up in the air, and you can get kills like that, and then you get back in it. But yeah, as far as tips go for Diva, make sure you watch certain players' health pool. Well, yeah, health pool is also good to look at, because once they get to certain thresholds, you can just charge and then dive them, even if they're super far away. One thing I like to do, I like to call it fishing for characters' health, is to hit something that's super far away, just to do like this. So when it gets super low, you know that you can dive, maybe go ahead and dive into something, maybe hit like one other hero. So like, let's say I know that this person is really low, like this guy over here. I can get this guy really low. So let's say I know that he's really low. I can just go ahead and dive and kill him with the dive, and then go ahead and finish off some other targets that might be low, or to play relatively aggressive. And also, oh, here would be a good like example of blocking, because I can block. Let's block from this distance, so you guys can get an idea once these actually fire. So you can see I can actually block the shots, even though it's not right in front of me. So you guys can see the range on it is pretty dang good for the Diva shield. But yeah, she's very good if you want to play very aggressive, and she's also very good against all of the tanks in the game. She can pretty much 1v1 anything in the game, better than anything in the game. So yeah, she's very good if you want to play very aggressive. Next up would be Reinhardt. So some tips for Reinhardt. So he has an ult that smashes everyone to the ground, or like it stuns them essentially and puts them to the ground. When you do that, make sure you have up Sonic Boom. Is it called? Oh no, it's called Fire Strike. Okay. Make sure you have Fire Strike. So like what you'd want to do is you'd want to knock everyone down, then throw Fire Strike, and then charge. Also, some other tips with Reinhardt. So basically, his role in the game would be to throw up his shield and let your teammates go ahead and sit behind your shield and shoot him. But at high levels of gameplay, you need to make a lot of plays as Reinhardt. He becomes a lot more difficult at very higher levels of play, simply because of the nature of like more competitive players. But anyways, a lot of times you'll see a lot of players, they'll just sit behind Reinhardt. This is really relevant in Diamond and Platinum, where people will just sit behind Reinhardt's shield forever. And what the Reinhardt needs to do is he needs to just make some moves. Like sometimes things need to be made, especially on like maps like Hanamura, where like people will literally sit behind Reinhardt shields for the entirety of the match. Where Reinhardt needs to just like make that play, throw his ranged attack, and then just charge in. The charge actually hits for 300 and it pins someone. So it basically, while they're in like the pin animation, so if you're pinning someone, you can also pin people off the map. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it here, but the pin has a relatively large hitbox, although that one didn't really register. But the most important thing when you're playing Reinhardt, as a tip, when you're using your ultimate, make sure your team can follow up. Otherwise, you're not going to like team wipe. That's more relevant in higher level of play, but the most important thing I can tell you guys is when you use your ultimate as Reinhardt, make sure you can throw out your ranged attack. I don't know why this guy didn't get knocked down, but nonetheless, make sure you line up your ranged attacks, hitting multiple people. I know there's a travel time, but in addition to that, you can cancel any of the attack animations from his basic attack into shield. So if I was, okay, let me go show you an example of this. So if I was to swing my hammer at this bot over here, I can cancel my animation at any point during the hammer, and you can actually fake out a lot of people. Another higher level tip that I can give you guys for Reinhardt is when you're doing mirror match Reinhardt, a lot of times you'll get close up to their Reinhardt will get really close up to you because you want to ultimate them. And it's really obvious when you're playing against a lower Reinhardt when they want to ult you, because if you shield up, you can actually block the other Reinhardt's ultimate, which is pretty big. But one tip that I can give you guys is to fakey your shield, and in the higher levels you need to do an attack, otherwise it's going to be very obvious that you're doing it. So if some player keeps on putting his shield up and down, you'll notice that they want to bait your ultimate, but what you can do to fake them out even harder is to go for an attack, cancel the animation into a shield, and then you'll be able to block their ultimates. Another tip that I can give you guys for Reinhardt is, say I wanted to shield this guy, like this guy was on my team. The better way that I can actually shield someone, if I really need to get as close as possible to my teammate to shield them, like they're about to die, I need to get there as close as possible, tilt your shield so it can actually block. Like let me show you like a better example. So if I really wanted to shield him, a lot of Reinhardts would just walk up to it and then they would shield, not knowing that you can just rotate and you can shield them this way, because your shield is larger on the left and right side, versus like just getting close to him, if that makes sense. Yeah, just tilting your shield can block certain things faster because of the way that its shape is. Also, another tip that I can give you with Reinhardt is to hit people with the side of your hammer rather than the front. Your hammer will actually have more range on the side. I'm not actually going to show you guys this. Okay. So, here would be an excellent example. So see how I can't hit him? Okay, but so I didn't move at all. As far as my movement went, but I did move my direction that I was swinging the hammer. Like, look, front-wise, well, one hand is on the mouse. So see how I'm not hitting him? But if I tilt, I can actually hit them. So Reinhardt's swing will actually hit further. The hitbox is just a different shape. It's kind of broken, honestly, but whatever. It won't match the actual hitbox. But if you want to, like, really be like a good like core player at like very lower ranks, Reinhardt is definitely very good. He gets very good value for the difficulty that he takes to play. He's a very good hero too, and he's a blast to play. I can definitely recommend him if you like a tank. Pretty much all the tanks in this game can do damage. Just they have different roles essentially. Roadhog, one of my favorite tanks. His goal is to just right-click people from farther distances. So it's 8 meters before the shotgun explodes. So his basic attack is just a shotgun, but his alternate fire fires his shotgun an additional 8 meters. So it actually explodes 8 meters out. So if I was to shoot this guy over here, it would just completely kill him. But if I get really close up right here, I can go point blank, shoot him, it'll only do 50 points of damage. Unless, again, all these integers that I mentioned, they are subject to change because that's just the nature of the game. But basically, he can get, he wants to get close up to tanks and kill them. Like that's like his goal at like higher levels because of the tank meta. But he can also kill other things by grabbing them and bringing them towards him. In addition to that, there is a lot of combos with Roadhog. I'll just go over like the basic one. So the basic combo for Roadhog involving animation cancels is, I'm sure something that had like larger health pool. But anyways, you want to right click, grab, and then shoot and melee. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Hopefully I can do it without the target dying. I'm not going to be able to do it against any of these targets because I don't think there's any target here that has infinite health. But okay, the goal of it is to I'm going to right click off of this target because otherwise, actually this will probably just die if I grab it and then shoot it, right? Okay. But you get the idea. The goal is to right click, get the grab, and then after, actually I guess I could do it like this. So on any distances, you usually want to right click. If you're in range of left clicking, then obviously yes, you use the left click. But always shoot before you grab. So it would be something like this. you would right click, grab them, shoot, and then melee. That's going to maximize your DPS as much as possible. Also, one little quick tip that I can also give you guys, when you actually grab a target, you can hold down your mouse and that'll actually hit the target as fast as possible. Don't try to time it, just hold down the mouse button. It's really easy. And then as far as the ultimate goes, it's generally not the greatest unless you're pushing off like a lot of people, but you can push people off the map. It's really good against tanks more than anything, in my personal opinion, but yeah, I would say if I mained anything, Roadhog would definitely be one of them, and I'm in Masters, and I think he's very, very viable at low levels and high levels. It all really comes down to, can you land that hook? And if you don't land your hooks, then don't play Roadhog, there's better heroes. Next one up is Winston. He's pretty decent at lower levels, but the thing that really makes Winston good is in higher level is what's called a dive composition. The dive composition consists of Winston, Genji, and Tracer, and what they do is they call out targets. You'll have a Zenyatta that discords, and what you do, it's supposed to destroy the tank meta, and it can as long as you're good enough. But what you're going to try to do in this dive comp is to jump on a character, throw down the shield so your Tracer and Genji can just make sure they obliterate the target as quickly as possible. Genji gets the reset, and then you just keep on just diving on things. That's the goal of the dive composition, and that's really where he can excel. But as far as tips for Winston that I can give you guys is make sure you land your fall to actually deal a lot of damage to your opponents. And in addition to that, weave through your shield. So let's say I was fighting this guy, right? I would want to try to get to a point where I'm hitting him and like he can't hit me because the shield is going to be blocking it. So that can be a little quick tip. Also, this cannot be blocked for the most part. Like obviously Zarya's barrier, like I guess you can argue that it blocks it, but Diva's defense matrix will not stop it. Reinhardt's shield will not stop it from going off. And also when Genji uses reflect, it won't do anything. So basically it goes through a lot of things. It doesn't do very good damage, but it can hit multiple targets, so try to hit multiple targets. But as far as Winston goes, I would say that he has a very good value for lower ranked players as well, or also high level. But like the high level requires a lot of coordination, so if you want to play him and you want to get really good at the game, you're going to need a team to follow up on your callouts. It's either, well, generally you'll have Zenyatta be calling out anyways because he's going to be the Discord person anyways. But next up, Zarya. So Zarya is a hero that is very strong in the game if you have a team that can follow up on your ultimate. So if you want to be able to team wipe, Zarya is very good because her ultimate sucks up everything into a ball, and then it does small amounts of damage in ticks, but then it can actually wipe your enemy team if you're at full charge. So basically how Zarya works is when she throws up her shield and things attack it, you will actually gain up to 40% charge. And that can also be on your teammates. Actually, I can do it over here and show you guys. So her basic attack is just a laser over here. It can be hard for some people to hit. I think it's very easy to land hits with it, but some people will argue it's hard. It cannot headshot, so don't go for headshots with her. But as far as like any tips that I can give you guys, do not barrier early. I see so many players barrier early, like they would just barrier this target over here. But wait until like you would see this shot, and then before the shot would actually hit, you barrier at the last second. That way you get the maximum amount of value for the duration on the shield. It can also break, but for the most part, I see a lot of other players using Zarya's barrier very ineffectively because they don't time a shot, if that makes sense. Obviously versus things like McCree, Slaydra, those are hit scan, but if it's against like a Torbjorn or something that you can see the projectile, Pharah would be an excellent example. If you see a Pharah's rocket about to hit something, you don't need to barrier it immediately, barrier it right before the thing would actually land. Again, that's to maximize potential. That's, again, a higher level play. Also, another quick tip that I can give you guys for any Zarya players is to actually shoot the ground while you're trying to get back to the point. It will deal damage to yourself, and during that, you cannot actually barrier yourself to build your own charge for her extra damage. So that number that you see on the screen where it says 0, it can actually be increased up to 100%, and that's going to add damage to your left click as well as your right click. But yeah, getting back to the points, shoot the ground as Zarya, and that'll actually kind of push you up a little bit forward. It's very small, but like, you know, I got to give you guys all the tips. But Zarya is very good for wiping enemy teams, but make sure again that you can follow up, or if you're at 100% charge, then go for it. But those are the tanks in the game. As far as like the healing goes in the game, Anna's the best healer in the game. She does take a lot of skill. If you want one of those high skill ceiling heroes, I can definitely recommend Anna for you guys. So Anna's kit lets you shoot things, hits for 80 points of damage. It is a damage over time, but it's really fast anyways. Also, she has a grenade that she can throw that increases healing to that specific target as well as anything that gets hit. And it's actually a pretty big range for the AoE. And yeah, you can kill things really fast as Ana, and also you can put things to sleep. Usually the goal is to put something to sleep and then everyone ignores that specific target unless it's out of range or like in a very specific area. You generally want to ignore that target and then kill off everything, then just kill off the other person because it puts them to sleep for a decent amount of time. And again, these integers will be changed. I don't actually know it at the moment. It used to be 5 seconds, and then they have changed the and they've tried a lot of things with the sleep. But they used to be able to actually infinitely put people to sleep and have them get booted from a game from being AFK, but it required multiple Anas. It's irrelevant that I'm really mentioning this, but I just thought it was just a fun little fact. But anyways, so like as far as Ana goes, so let me show you guys some like bread and butter like combos with Ana. So the bread and butter combo, the ideal thing to do is to be able to shoot before you get the dart, so it'd be shoot and then dart. But the thing is that sometimes you don't have that ability to do it. But once the target is asleep, what you want to do is shoot melee and then you can grenade, or you can do any combination of trying to cancel some animations with the fire. Let me kill this target first while I'm waiting for things to come back up. But anyways, you can do a lot of variations of the combo. You can do melee, grenade, and then shoot, but I think the best is to go for the shot first. These are all dependent on like what your ammo count is at, because like if you're out of ammo, then obviously reloading will be a bad idea to shoot. Well, it'd be a bad idea just to go for the melee for the most part, unless of course the target is really low. But the ideal thing to do after you put the target to sleep is actually just to shoot and cancel with melee, and then the grenade usually will land because the grenade is very big. It's at 4 meters, which is like the AoE of the grenade. But yeah, it's pretty big, so you should be able to land it relatively easy. Again, shoot melee and then the grenade usually can get them down really low, and then you just need to follow up usually with one shot and it should finish it off. As far as nano boosts, can I nano boost this? Okay, so nano boost makes it so a target takes less damage and also deal more damage. It used to give movement speed, but that has been nerfed, but I mean, maybe they might change again in the future. But generally what you want to do before you nano boost, this is very, very important, especially when you're doing it on certain targets, because some people will focus that target if it's nano boosted, like in higher levels of play, like the goal is to put the nano target to sleep. Also, if you're worried about nano boosting another target, because someone can jump in front of you and steal the nano boost essentially, not an enemy, but like your own teammate. Like if I wanted to boost this guy up and someone else stood right here, I might accidentally nano boost the wrong target, so you can get up really close. But one tip that you guys will really need is to make sure you give the target the grenade before or like immediately after you nano boost. I generally try to make sure that I get it off as quickly as possible. That way I can keep on healing the target. Also, another tip with Ana is to just rapidly fire. The reason why is because it can hit your targets as well as enemy targets, because it deals 80 points of damage or it can heal your teammates. So just keep on spamming as Ana, because if any of your teammates run in front of it, they're gonna get healed. If any enemy teammates if there are any enemies that run into the shot, it'll also deal damage to them. Also, another tip: her hit becomes hit scan. At least it was. I don't know if they've changed this. Again, some of these things are subject to change because that's just, you know, nature of games. But when you shoot with Ana, when it's zoomed in, it actually should be hit scan, and then when you're outside of it, you can actually, well, I mean, you'll see the dart regardless, but it's gonna travel slower. So I recommend you guys to stay unscoped unless you're trying to hit like a Pharah out of the air. But Ana is definitely high skill ceiling as far as heroes go. Next up, we have Lucio. If you like to wall run, I'm not like a god at wall running, but there are people that can wall run and they can get to like anywhere on maps. Like they can go into the highest areas and they can sit there and spin for days on certain like maps. But nonetheless, Lucio, he has the ability to AoE heal. If you're new to the game and you're like, you know what, I just want to try to guarantee wins at low rank, Lucio can be good, but it kind of depends on like your teammates. Also, don't forget, you can shoot with Lucio. Like a lot of people with Lucio, they focus too much on trying to wall ride, but you can wall ride and shoot at the same time. Like just keep firing. He doesn't do very much damage, but at the end of the day, like any amount of damage is still good damage. Anyways, he also has the ability to push things off, and momentum does carry over. So if I was to swap to speed, like he has two things he can swap into. He can either AoE heal or AoE speed boost. But while you're speed boosting, momentum carries over, so if I was to use alt fire, if I'm speed boosting, it'll actually push them further away. He's overall just a really good, solid hero. I think that he's very hard to replace in the game. Like, no one else can like AoE speed boost or AoE heal. He doesn't heal for very much, but of course he's healing everyone, so he's very, very good value. I can't really give you guys too many tips on Lucio other than like certain like maps, which are very, very like specific on like where you can push people off and other like areas which you can engage enemies and bot people off. But I'm not a Lucio pro. You can look up a lot of crazy Lucio montages. There's a lot of really great Lucio players out there. But I don't know, if you like healing everyone and you don't like to be blamed for things, Lucio could be for you. Because he does have the ability to ult, but for the most part, very few times where people be like, oh, it's the Lucio's fault. Like, it can be like the Mercy's fault, it can be the Ana's fault, but very few times where people call it Lucio, unless you just sit there on speed like the entire time and you never go to heal and you're just going Sonic fast and you're wall ride. Then, yeah, I guess people. But for the most part, if you don't like to be blamed, I think Lucio could be for you. Mercy is the worst healer in the game. She has like the lowest pick rate. I will complain about Mercy until they buff her. If you see the competitive scene, Mercy doesn't see very much play. For reasons why, because like she's just outclassed by pretty much everything in the game right now. I don't really consider Symmetra a healer, but nonetheless, if you play Mercy, a lot of people will complain at higher ranks simply because at lower ranks, you can get off your res, and she's great at lower ranks, I would say, even. But the thing is, once you get into the high competitive scene, she's not the greatest, so just keep that in mind. And again, unless they buff her. She has 2 weapons. She has a staff. I wish the staff did damage, but basically, it has 2 functions. You can actually, oh, I have it set to not toggle. You can go into options and change a lot of things, but she can either heal or damage boost. She gives you 30% increased damage, or like, yeah, when she's targeting something. This can stack, however, the heal cannot stack. You can't have 5 Mercies on one player and have it stack. But you can have multiple Mercies damage boosting on a target, and that can actually stack. And she can swap to a pistol. Don't be afraid to swap to your pistol, by the way. A lot of people are afraid to swap to their pistol. As far as tips for Mercy, don't get too close up. Make sure you have a target that you can fly to if things go south. I guess I can show you like her heals. And then she also has the damage boost, although this thing doesn't attack. But her ult is very important to be used like effectively in like, I don't know, I'd say like in Plat and Gold she's still more viable, but like basically you don't want to go out in the open and just start healing things because people are going to be focusing you, even at lower ranks. Like they're going to be like, kill the Mercy, kill the Mercy. A higher level, like she gets killed so hard that like she doesn't get a chance to ever use her res properly, and that's the biggest like complaint that players have with Mercy. Unless of course they make it so it's like across map, but basically you want to hide in certain scenarios where like you hear a bunch of people ulting, right? You don't want to sit there and try to out heal like a McCree ult. Like if McCree's ulting, I don't know for what reason why Mercy's like, I'm gonna go ahead and heal. It's like your heal's not gonna be irrelevant. Or like if a McCree ults, you'll see in lower ranks Zenyatta will respond with his ult, which is completely irrelevant, other than keeping himself alive, which is not the greatest thing to do anyways. Don't respond with a Zenyatta ult when like a McCree ult, because it does like, it's going to kill you. Same thing with like Diva's ult. Like it's going to do 1,000 points of damage. You're more than likely just going to die. Oh, we can res these? That's pretty cool. So I guess you can res the bots. I didn't know that. But anyways, the goal is to make it so the enemy team ult, you try to hide as much as you possibly can, and then once there's 5 people dead, you go in and you res everyone. And then everyone's like, wow, oh my gosh, the Mercy, you actually did something for once. And then you'll be like, oh, I'm so good at this game. Actually, hold on this account, let's check this out. I don't play Mercy on this account, but if I go to like view my career profile, and I think I only played her in social. Anyways, let's go to like win percentage. So like my win percentage on Mercy is like really bad, like really bad. It's 3% in quick play, but for the most part, I really don't recommend Mercy for players that are interested in getting very, very good at the game, because I feel like she will always have that, I guess, downside of making it so your opponents will play very aggressive against you, and like you don't have very much to fight back with. So I can't really recommend her if you want to like a high skill ceiling character, because she doesn't really offer that. Because you'd have to hide, and I guess if you like hide and seek, hey, you know what? Actually, if you like hide and seek games, Mercy's for you. Definitely not a bad hero if you can pull off the res. It's just too hard to pull off. Is really what it comes down to. She'll probably get a buff though, because her pick rate is so damn low. Symmetra is interesting. She's not really actually like defensive so much as she would be considered utility, in my personal opinion. But she has gotten buffs, so she throws down these turrets, and basically the goal is to throw down these turrets. Quick little tips for Symmetra though, that can determine if you want to play her or not. If you like holding down certain areas, she's really great at that. She also has the ability to make a shield, and she can actually do a decent amount of damage too. She has this like weird role in the game. So let me give you some tips for Symmetra. When you're placing down her sentries, this is my biggest tip for you guys, is to place a sentry very, very high, and then also very low. Like, specifically, like, let's say like, you know that they're gonna walk around this corner. Don't just place it like right out in the open. That would be the opposite of what you want to do. don't even place things in the corner like this. See how you can see it very easy? So like if you know they need to walk around this corner, put it over here so then they couldn't hit it until they get like around the corner. In addition to that, hiding it in spots like this would be excellent because they would go over here, they wouldn't see it, they would walk over here and they'd be getting hit by this one and then also be getting hit by this one over here. And it has a decent range over here. You guys can see the range. Here's 10 meters right here. Well, we'll have to wait until they respawn. But for the most part, oh, another tip, because she's gotten a rework, when you throw out this, just follow it and you can just like charge people and she can do a lot of damage. I think it's about 7 meters. Let's see it. It's 7 or 8 meters, depending on like the target. There's a lot of weird hitboxes in the game. Oh, you can see it's definitely 10. Okay. Okay. Her normal attack, I know it's 7 meters, but it can be considered 8. Again, there's like weird hitboxes in Overwatch. But anyways, as far as the playstyle of Symmetra, she's really good at holding down certain areas. She can also charge up her attack. I can't really give you guys too many like animations or like combos with Symmetra, but pretty much throw down the shield, run up to targets, and left click. Make sure you use all of your sentries first before you try to do that because yeah, you definitely want to still give your team like good value in a sense, and they do some amount of damage as well. So like, it's really good. Oh, also another tip. Since certain heroes like Winston can AoE a lot of things, or Reinhardt can swing his hammer, try to separate your sentries. I don't mean separate them like one right here, one way over there. You can do that, but what I'm saying is to split them up a little bit more so that one person can't just like swing their hammer once or like one-shot all of them really quick. And also try to put, again, one really high and then one really low. Do that like in multiple areas. Like I can put one, like let's say this corner. Well, like I mentioned before, there's weird hitboxes in this game. But like, I wanted to hide it like around here. That would be, okay, can I put one of them? Okay, there we go. So that can be maybe okay. You can see it, you can kind of see it, but nonetheless, the reason why I told you guys to put one to high and low, it makes the opponents go look up really high and try to shoot it, and then they have to return back. And the reason why you want that is because depending on people's sensitivity, that can be a huge nerf. It's really relevant on consoles. If any of you guys are console players, yeah, that's more relevant on consoles as well. Because with a mouse, you have a lot easier way of like just targeting things. But that's my little tips for you guys for Symmetra. I think she's a blast to play, but again, that's all subjective information. But she's definitely great at holding down certain areas, and the shield generator is really good at lower ranks. And in higher ranks, people generally favor the teleporter, but the shield generator can also be very good. In competitive play, there's a lot of people that do an icon wall. They'll do Symmetra and Torb, and then once Symmetra sets up her shield generator and Torbjorn throws on the armor, it's really hard to break some of those setups. And then lastly, we have our man Zenyatta over here. So Zenyatta is a healer, but he doesn't heal very much. Let's throw it on the Harmony arm. You can see the amount of healing. These are on 200 point targets. It's very minor for the amount of healing that he does. However, he can also discord a target, which means that they will take 30% extra damage. And Zenyatta is not a joke for his damage. Watch this. He can two-shot people that are discorded. That's crazy. Each headshot, it's like 43 or 46 damage is what he does. They've changed the integers a lot, and I didn't actually check the patch notes for the Zenyatta. But it's either 43 or 46 points of damage for headshots. Well, headshots will be multiplied times that, times 2. So that's why he can two-shot people, and 30% extra damage is a lot. If you have good aim, I guess Zenyatta can be for you. Now, what's interesting is he has weapon sway. When he right-clicks, you'll see, I don't know if it'll show off in here, but even though he has weapon sway, it's relatively accurate when you charge up with him. Like, you can see that like most of these will be headshots that are firing off when you do the charge shot, even though it only takes 2 shots. But yeah, that is if they're discord. If they're not discord, you'll see that it will not be a 2-shot, but pretty much it is.
A triple!
Oh, wow, I'm not even streaming, someone hits follow. Wow, 10 out of 10. But Zenyatta's interesting. Oh, also interesting fun fact with Zenyatta. You don't need to ever crouch with Zenyatta to avoid making footstep sounds because he floats in the air. Let me see. I wonder if the emote's gonna show up. See, he never touches the ground, so he doesn't actually make footstep sounds. So that's another quick little tip for you guys. But yeah, he's a very strange like healer because he doesn't heal for very much, but he also can make things take more damage. But he kind of is. I mean, he does see some play in dive comps, but for the most part, his ultimate, which is to heal everyone in this like giant AoE, he heals a lot. The problem is that once he heals, his team will generally go towards him, or like he's gonna be like, okay guys, you know, we'll ball up. That's a play that's more relevant in like I'd say platinum to diamond that try to coordinate moves. They'll try to get in like a ball, so to speak. Getting, you know, all together is not the greatest thing in like, you know, any game because of AoE damage. But the thing is that if Ana throws a grenade and he ults, not only can Zenyatta not attack during his ult, but he can't throw Discord orbs, he cannot throw Harmony orbs. He's completely useless. He can't take any damage, but that's irrelevant because, you know, your entire team is going to be wiped, and then on top of that, you're just going to wipe because you have nothing as Zenyatta. You got no escapes. Apparently the game lasted too long, it shut down the game, but there it is, guys. We've covered all the heroes, and hopefully that can give you guys an idea on which heroes are good for you guys to play, because I know a lot of you guys, again, were like, hey, you know, my nan got me this game, which hero should I play? So there's like the brief synopsis, and as well as some tips and tricks for you guys, so you guys can determine if you guys want to play that hero, whatever hero you guys want. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I am signing out.